It's Sunday morning on CBS, and here again is Jane Pauley.
You might say he turned karaoke into an art form, and yet later this week, the curtain comes down on James Corden's Late Late Show. With our Ben Mankiewicz, James Corden looks forward and looks back.
For 8 years, he's been reinventing late-night television on CBS's The Late Late Show. Johnny Carson never jumped out of a plane with Tom Cruise.
Woo! This is that ice cold
Or sang carpool karaoke with Bruno Mars, Stevie Wonder, even Barbara Streisand. There's a cliche that many in Hollywood stop traffic. With Crosswalk the Musical, James Corden does it literally. It's fun watching you sit around a table with Kim Kardashian and asking her to, rank the style choices of her sisters. That's fun.
Well, I think that's the currency of our show. I think joy is the currency. We've always wanted to create a show that is joyful, that's uplifting, a place where you feel like you can go and have a great time.
But Corden, at the top of his game, is leaving the show and the country.
This will be my last year hosting The Late Late Show. Don't you dare.
The 44-year-old is signing off and returning to London. Only 4 shows left.
It is going to be a blast. I promise you that. We'll be right back with more of The Late Late Show, everybody. I'll always be gobsmacked and amazed that this was a part of my life. But my wife and I, we always knew that this was an adventure and not a final destination.
Is there something you'll miss the most?
More than anything, I'm just going to miss my friends that I've made here at the show. I'm going to miss the feeling of coming into this office every day and knowing that someone's going to make you laugh.
It's really pushing my man.
Before we get to why he's going, let's marvel at how it began, almost by accident.
It was inconceivable. I don't look like I should be hosting a TV show. I'd never stood on a monologue mark and done a monologue. I'd never interviewed a guest. Nothing about this should work.
Hasta la vista, baby!
But work it did, which speaks volumes about Corden's talent. Virtually unknown in the U.S., he was a familiar face in England, on the screen and the stage. Mostly, he was an actor, a comedy actor.
I would probably just say I'm a performer. That's probably what I am. I just love performing. It's all I've ever loved. I've loved it since I don't remember a time that I didn't just love performing.
Success in London's West End brought him to Broadway, where he won a Tony Award, Best Actor in a Play.
I'm my own worst enemy. Stop being negative. I'm not being negative. I'm being realistic.
That led to a pitch meeting with CBS executives in Hollywood. He had a sitcom. They wanted it. He turned them down.
The more I lived with it and thought about it, I thought, it's very unlikely that this will work on an American network.
Then they started talking, casually, about the hour after Stephen Colbert's show.
I said, I think you've got an opportunity to have an hour there that embraces the internet. Make a show that launches at 12:37, but people consume and watch all day, because that's how that audience are consuming their content now. Your traditional 12:30 audience they're still watching, they're just watching in a different way.
To his surprise, CBS offered him the show. Were you afraid? Or did you fear failure? Better way to put it?
I don't know if I fear failure, because I think that's an interesting thing, failure. You can only really judge anything by your own personal human growth.
Yeah.
So saying that, you want the show to succeed. But in truth, I think it was quite easy for me, because I was so convinced that it wouldn't work. Welcome to The Late Late Show, everybody.
But it did, since night one.
I will really do my best not to let any of you down, truly.
Corden transformed a familiar format. The couch and desk remained, but the guests appeared together, with segments that made it more a viral variety show than anything else.
Ready?
Take carpool karaoke.
Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times.
It's a crazy thing, just the notion of driving around with an artist and singing their songs. Like it's so simple and so perfect. It's like, it's genius.
Well, I think there's something very humanizing about it.
I don't care about that.
The songs are the glue that kind of hold it all together, but there's an intimacy that comes from that interview, which I think is, and it's a humanizing environment. It's what we all do. We all sing these songs in the car.
Beep, 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 yeah!
But not with Paul McCartney.
Stop and say hello. 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 Penny Lane is in.
It goes down as a personal favorite for Corden.
The segment with Paul McCartney was probably the pinnacle of that as an idea.
You were all waiting for this moment to arrive.
Going into his house, which he hadn't stepped in for, I think, since he left. And he said, I just don't feel comfortable, I feel weird about it. I sort of go, should we go in? And he goes, yeah, let's do it. And my God,
Will you soon need me? Will you soon feed me? When I'm 64 altogether. When I'm 64.
what have I done to deserve such memories, you know?
Given all that success and how much he's changed late night, why leave now? The answer is both personal and professional.
We really want our children to experience life in London. We are blown away that they've even had the experience of living in another country. It's how much you look at your professional life and your career and your personal life and your growth as a family. That's what it is. There's just so many other things that I'd like to try and see what I might be capable of.
That isn't what happened. I don't want
He seems capable of largely anything.
It's what happens now! Why'd you have to shout all the time?
He's starring in a limited series, Mammals, out now on Amazon Prime.
More than anything, I just got to go and see what's out there.
He is also navigating a recent bump in the road. The owner of a posh New York restaurant briefly banned him after a dust-up with the waitstaff. Corden apologized in a phone call and then on the air.
I made a sarcastic, rude comment, right, about cooking it myself, and it is a comment I deeply regret.
The owner lifted the ban, but in this era of endless news cycles and social media, the story won't die. Corden is clearly tired of discussing it.
This little round of internet issue that has gone on, it must have bummed you out.
Perspective is really important. You know, we really try and make such a positive show. Try and seek that positivity. And if you put your focus there, that's what I just try and do. It's what I've tried to do every day that we're here, you know. Have I missed anything? Did I miss any news?
Corden has figured out one way to navigate these peculiar times.
Don't have social media on my phone. It's not a world that I sort of engage in.
He's been fully engaged in the Late Late Show. Now he's leaving it for good.
Can you envision a scenario where you would return to late night television?
I can't envisage a scenario where I would return as a late night host. I'd be very, very surprised. If it did, I'd be gobsmacked.
It sounds like he's already been gobsmacked by his adopted country since 2015.
I think America is a wonderful place. It is a very, very special place to work. It's a very, very special place to live, and it's a very, very special place to sit behind a desk and tell people to stick around and you'll be right back.
Someone might be done in a minute. Okay, we're done. Well done. Well done.
What a privilege. It really, really is.